All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from Brewery Ommegang, and they are out of Cooperstown, New York, and this is their 25th anniversary ale. So they're calling this one an Imperial Amber Ale with orange peel, grains of paradise, and coriander. It comes in at 9% alcohol by volume, 25 IBUs at the time of review. This bottle is just over 2 months old. So Ommegang is celebrating its 25th anniversary here in 2022. They founded the brewery back in 1997, and they released this beer as their anniversary ale this year. So basically what this is, to some degree anyway, is an imperialized version of their Rare Vos, which was an amber ale with orange peel, grains of paradise, and coriander. So I feel like they just made an imperialized version of this. Maybe they changed up a couple other things, but that's what it seems to be. And I really like Rare Vos. I reviewed that one about 3 years ago. I gave it a 4 out of 5. A classic, kind of staple from Ommegang. Really, really good stuff. And I'm hoping this imperialized version is just as good. So let's crack this open, get it into the glass. What I like about Ommegang too is not only do they give a lot number, which is basically just the date. I guess I'll put this over here, but it doesn't have anything on it. But they also give a best by date of April 12th of 2023. So they give about a 9-month shelf life for this beer, and I think that's fair. Hopefully it holds up for 9 months. Probably would hold up even longer. Anyway, let's give this a pour. Like most of Ommegang's beers, this is a Belgian-style Amber Ale, even though you just say Amber Ale. You know, with the Belgian yeast and everything, you're going to probably notice that. I mean, I will, for sure, knowing this beer and, basically how they roll. But yeah, anyway, that looks beautiful. Has this really nice, I would say copper color, like an orange copper color. Has about a finger of a khaki colored head that is soap sudsy looking to some degree. Some chill haze, some condensation, but also some generic haze in general. I can see very fine particulates floating around in the beer itself. But yeah, beautiful looking beer. Let's get a nose. Yeah. So that orange peel is actually very prominent. Zesty. Yeah, like a zesty orange character. It's a little bit of lemon. I'm getting like a big white pepper. Excuse me, big white pepper. And it's kind of getting, which is crazy because I thought it would get lost in the grains of paradise and the coriander, but the white pepper is the most predominant thing that I'm smelling outside of the orange peel. A little bit of like a Belgian candy sugar. Has like caramel and toffee, burnt sugars, brown sugar. You can, feel the Belgian yeast to some degree. Like you can smell it and be like, all right, that's a Belgian beer. Bready. Yeah, definitely bready, like a brown bread. Maybe like a figure of date. It smells really good. I'll be surprised. I'll be surprised. I'm actually surprised that the grains of paradise and the coriander aren't bigger in the nose. Again, I'm getting like a generic white pepper along with that zesty orange peel and then underlying like burnt sugars and, malty notes, but not really picking up at all on the grains of paradise or coriander. But it smells pretty damn good. So let's get into it. Cheers, everyone, and happy anniversary to Ommegang. Ooh, that's spicy. Not like hot, spicy as in there's a lot of spices going on. So I'll say right off the first sip, I don't think I enjoy this as much as Rare Vos. The reason is I don't know if I necessarily want these flavors to be imperialized. That makes any sense? Like, I don't think I needed an imperial version of that. It's not bad. It's just, I think I prefer Rare Vos a little bit more. Anyways, let's get into another sip here before I start getting deep into the tasting notes. But in this higher side of medium body, 9%, it's appropriate. The mouthfeel, really crisp and effervescent, lots of carbonation, almost stinging the tongue. There's a smoothness on the back of the palate, but this definitely is very high. This is moderate to highly carbonated, big carbonation. So body appropriate. Mouthfeel probably appropriate, but a little bit too much with the carbonation for my liking. Kind of stripping a lot of the flavors away on the palate. The taste, I dig them. I dig as the tasting notes in general and the flavors. I don't know why I said I dig them, but I do. I dig the tasting notes of this one. But there's other factors at play here that are making me not enjoy this as much as I hope, which we'll talk about momentarily. First off, the mouthfeel, obviously. But the flavors, right at the forefront, brown sugar, bready, like a brown bread. There's a little bit of that like fig and date thing. Pass through the palate, the orange peel kind of hits first. It's like a zesty orange peel. I'm getting a little bit of like a lemon mixed in, so a touch of citrus notes. And then the back of the palate, this is really spicy. The white pepper leads the way, which is probably just from the yeast itself. But then on top of that, you get the grains of paradise. I'm just super carbonated. Like I'm burping just after a couple sips. Like it's highly carbonated. The coriander is definitely noticeable along with the grains of paradise. So it becomes this real melange of spiciness on the back of the palate, which is cool and all, but I think it's a bit too much for me. Finishes semi to full on dry. Very mild bitterness. A little bit of like a earthy bitterness. Maybe a slight like touch of like pine resin too, which is kind of weird. I don't know if that necessarily fits in here. So here's what I'll say. I really do dig the flavors for the most part. I think it's a little bit too spicy on the finish for me. Maybe a little bit too much of that. It's not a lot, don't get me wrong. There's a little bit of like a earthy, like resinous pine tone in the back of the palate. So that's kind of like different for something like this. And I don't necessarily need that. So it's kind of weird and not really welcomed. The booze, I mean, for 9%, they're hiding it relatively well. Warming in the chest, nothing on the palate, so I'll give them kudos to that. So I think we'll go like this. Positives. They hide the booze relatively well. I like the malt character and the Belgian yeast kind of feeling to this beer. I think it's a little bit too spicy for me, like with the adjunct, again, the coriander, the grains of paradise. I think it's a little bit too much. The orange peel is cool. The last two, I think, a little bit too big in this one. And I also think it's a little bit too carbonated. So you have a couple positives, couple negatives, right? Overall, it's good. It's solid. I enjoy this. I like Rare Vos better. I think it works better in a 6.5% beer with these, 3 adjuncts. And I think that I don't remember it being as carbonated as this, but again, I could be misremembering. Shout out to Roger Clemens for no reason. Not bad though. It's solid. Now I just got a little bit like a dried fruit of some sort. Yeah, it's solid to good. That's where I would kind of leave this one. So the 25th anniversary ale from Ommegang, I have no problems giving this a low 3.75. I'll go 3.7. I really wanted to love this because when a brewery releases an anniversary ale, to me it's like, okay, look, this is going to be a special thing. And when I saw this out, the first thing I thought was like, man, I remember those 3 specific ingredients in some of their other beers, or at least one of them, and then it turns out it was Rare Vos. And this is just a bigger version of that, maybe even a little bit more hop forward than that beer, but like a bigger version of that. And I think that beer is already pretty damn solid, so I don't need a 9% version of Rare Vos. The thing is I could see people grabbing this and being like, wow, I love it. I don't love it. I think it's solid. I enjoy it. There's a couple things, obviously the carbonation and maybe like that weird bitterness on the finish that I would like them to kind of correct for me personally, because they brew for me. No, but you know what I mean? To enjoy this beer more, I would need those things to be kind of eliminated. But as is, I can't sit here and say this is a bad beer because it's not. It's just different. Anyway, price and availability, price point, I think I paid $4 for that bottle. It's like 15 or 16 bucks for a 4-pack here in the Western New York area. If you see Ommegang, you probably should see this one. It is their anniversary beer. You would think that it would get pretty good distribution and availability. I have no idea. It's Ommegang. We see them here in Western New York, and we have seen them for a very long time. If you're outside of New York, I don't really know, but if you do see Ommegang stuff, I would, again, be surprised if you don't see this in your neck of the woods. So if you've had this one before, post in the comment section. And if you've had this and the Rare Vos before, which one do you prefer? Again, Rare Vos all day. I give that 4 out of 5. This 3.7, so obviously I enjoy that one more. But I could see how somebody would enjoy this compared to that beer. I just feel like maybe they want it imperialized. Maybe they want something a little bit more strong and boozy. I don't get a lot of booze on this one, warming into the chest, but like it hides it pretty well. So from that aspect, I don't think it's hugely different, but who knows? Anyway, I appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. Once again, shout out to Ommegang. awesome that they're celebrating their 25th anniversary. I love trying their beers. I need to review some of their classics like Hennepin. I've never reviewed Hennepin, which is just mind-boggling to me, but like they make a lot of really good Belgian-style beers, and they've been, you know, diving into the non-Belgian beers and doing a pretty good job. So kudos to them. Hopefully they're around for another 25 years. So cheers to them. Cheers to everybody. To the next one. Cheers.